UHC is blowing up right now in the Bloxd.io PvP community, but most players are doing it completely wrong. I'm a retired high tier 1 UHC PvPer, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to win your fights, from simple things like better predictions and escaping nets quickly to advanced strategies that can win fights almost instantly. But before any of that, you need to understand the core mechanics of UHC: predicting your opponent, escaping nets, and keeping players trapped. So let's start with predictions. A lot of this comes down to muscle memory and aim. The more you play, the better it gets. But there are a few things that you can abuse right away. First, when someone jumps, they usually won't change their direction mid-air because it kills their momentum. That makes it really easy to predict where they're going to land, and you can also place nets 2 blocks high to catch those players mid-jump, which works way more often than you'd expect. Now, once you have an opponent in the net, keeping them in the net is what actually wins the fight. When your opponent is stuck on the edge of the net, you'll usually do 2 things. You either swing at them or start spamming more nets, which kind of ruins it. What you should do instead is place nets in the direction they're trying to move in. Sometimes you won't be able to place more nets on the other side because nets are blocking you from getting to that side, but that's an easy fix. If you switch to third person, every time you hit them, they get pulled slightly towards you, and since movement in nets is pretty limited, it makes it way harder for them to escape, so you can get kills a lot easier with this. And to consistently get your net spikes landed, you need muscle memory, but there's 2 ways to build that. The first is just playing the game, but that's pretty slow. A much faster way to do this is to practice UHC in a creative lobby, and just focus on placing nets and spikes as fast as you can. But it's not all about placing them, you also need to learn how to get out of them instantly. That means getting used to switching from your pickaxe to your axe without thinking, and the best part is you can train both of these at the same time in one simple drill just like this. But UHC isn't just about nets and spikes. If you take this to a survival lobby, you're probably gonna get destroyed, so let's talk about utilities, because this is where fights actually start to shift in your favor. Even though a lot of these aren't in standard UHC kits, they're extremely important in survival PvP. Starting with one of the most important tools, the bow. Don't worry too much about the damage here, what actually matters is the effects. There are 3 main debuffs that you should care about: poison, weakness, and slowness. Each of them have their own perks. Poison is easily one of the best. It drains fast heals like potions or forces your opponent to take slower heal options instead. Weakness is just as strong. It makes your opponent take much more damage, which becomes insane if you combine it with the other setups later in this video. And slowness is not as used, but it's really good if your opponent really likes to run. Overall, I think poison is the best option. It's really annoying and it drains heals. But for the second utility, we've got something almost every survival PvPer uses: weakness potions. Been common in whole PvP for a while, but they've only recently gotten popular with UHC. Weakness 1 makes your opponent take 20% more damage, but weakness 2 pushes that to 30%. That means you can draw players much faster than normal, but only if you use it correctly, because if you just throw it at them, they're gonna run away. The best time to use weakness is when your opponent is trapped in a net. Trying to hit these splash potions in open fights is not consistent, but when they can't move, it's basically guaranteed. Now let's go over a few niche mechanics that give you a huge advantage in UHC. First, wood spikes. They deal almost as much damage as diamond spikes, but here's the catch: they're broken with an axe, and if you look at any survival PvPer's inventory, most of them don't carry one, which makes escaping from these much harder. Next is cobwebs. Just like the wood spikes, they're really annoying to break, and nobody is putting shears or a hoe in their hotbar mid-fight. So even the short delay of breaking that compared to a net gives you enough time to respike. And if you're still struggling with predictions, this one makes it way easier: ice balls. They freeze your opponent for a moment, which is the perfect window to guarantee a net. But if you're on the receiving end of this, there is a counter. Just stack up 2 blocks and then use your glider to escape. At the start of this video, I promised you a way to almost instantly kill your opponents, so here it is. This is a combo I've been using for a while, and it's one of the strongest setups in survival PvP. By combining weakness 2 and strength 2, your damage doubles. You can go from normal hits to melting players in under a second, especially if you're using a fast weapon like Speed 3 Sword. And if they try to run, that's where the Poison 2 comes in. If you put that all together, fights are basically over before they even start.